We talked about in class how in art and in nature, there's a sequence that you'll see flow out of nature. You can see it in the fingers of your hand, you can see it in the human brain, you can see it in as a baby develops in the womb, even in galaxies and in flowers growing. In nature, you see it all over the place. You'll see Fibonacci sequence inside of nautilus shells, flowers growing, galaxies, and so on. So we're going to talk about how to create that in art. And they've kind of looked at people's preferences and said, oh, which artwork do you like better? Do you like artwork that's following this sequence, or do you like this other artwork? And people tend to appreciate or pick art or say that they like art better that kind of follows this sequence of sizes. So we're going to create a really basic project where we just copy and paste, and you're going to practice and try to understand how this number sequence works. So the first thing you're going to do is open Your Name Art, the project that we had created in the past. It's a Google document, and that Google document is called Your Name Art. And so you're going to go into your Google document, and you're going to go and press Insert, Drawing, New. Insert, Drawing, New. So insert, drawing, new, and inside, when you do that, you're going to, in the end, we're going to have something that's kind of like this. It's going to be a basic drawing, just easy with boxes that we copy and paste and change the color. So again, you're going to go into your document and you go Insert, Drawing, New. And you're going to start out by just using the shape tool. Or actually, sorry, before we do that, I'm going to have you put in a text box, and just so that you remember what the number sequence is, we're going to put the number sequence right above so that you don't forget. So the number sequence is like this. It is, you start with 0. So if a flower petal is growing, like in, let's say in a rose, you start with nothing, of course, 0, and then it'll grow 1 petal. And then, so 0 plus 1 is 1. So then 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. And so it's really adding the one before it. 3 plus 5 is 8. So the two numbers right before it added together get you the next number. So 8, 5 plus 8 is 13. 8 plus 13 is 21, and so on. So I'm not going to have you draw 34 squares individually or anything like that, but I just want you to know what the sequence is. The sequence is also called phi. So we're going to go to the shape tool like I was about to do, and we draw out. So we're going to shapes. It looks like a circle and a square. You go in there and you choose an oval. So here is an oval. And then under the oval, I'm just going to draw out a little ellipse. And I set the fill color as transparent. And then I'm going to go to this line tool, and I draw a line, and I'm going to draw the line and put it, if I use my arrow tool, I can move it. I'm going to put it right here in the middle. So this is the Greek symbol for phi, and phi is also the name for this sequence. So you might have heard of pi. Well, this is phi, and so phi refers to, some people call it the golden ratio, but technically it's not a ratio. It's an irrational number, and an irrational number just means you can't turn it into a fraction. So some numbers you can turn into like 1/3 or 1/2 or something like that. An irrational number, you can't turn it into a fraction easily. So anyway, they have a name for it, and it's called phi. And it reoccurs in nature so frequently that they have a symbol for it to make their equations easier to write, basically. So that's what the phi symbol looks like. All right, so then we're gonna go in and draw a square. So go ahead and choose the tool here, and you're gonna go somewhere kind of low in your window and draw a square. And it's easiest to draw a square if you hold down the Shift button. And when you hold down the Shift button, it kind of makes the sizes even. Go to then the border color, it looks like a pencil, and set that as transparent. Pick one of your favorite colors. You can see there's colors right here in the panel that are already pre-made. You can use those, or you can go to custom and choose a color that you like. So I kind of like blues and greens, you guys know that. So I'm just gonna pick a color that I like, and I hit OK. So then I go in the sequence. So we have obviously nothing at first and then 1. So I'm just going to go Control C, copy, Control V, paste, and that gives me 2. And these little red lines show up to show you if you're lining up your boxes. So try to line them up. So I have 1 and 1. Now I'm going to highlight that. And the way I highlight it is, see, I have my arrow tool and I just drag over both of them, copy that, paste it, and then copy what you have, and that'll give you your next number. So we want to have 2 by 2, which gives me 4. So I'm going to try to line it up. So I have 1 boxes that are 1 by 1. Now I have 2 by 2. 2 this way, 2 that way. Now I'm going to make it a slightly different color, and I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Now I take these ones. So this gives me 3 up. I'm going to copy that. And whenever we look back in my diagram here, we can see that the 3 is going to be put right next to it. So I go in there and I copy what I have and I paste it and I bring it over and I line it up, and I'm going to change the color to the next color up. Oops. So I kind of have, I don't know, color here maybe. And again, I can make it custom. I'm going to just move it up. Copy that. So Control C is copy, Control V. So the next one was supposed to be 3 by 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, and I have 1 extra row. I'm just going to delete this row. So I have 3, 1, 2, 3 across, and 1, 2, 3 up. So I'm doing good. I've got my 3 by 3. Now I copy everything. Control C, Control V, and I'm going to line it up. And again, I'm going to look here at my diagram. I'm going to put my 5 by 5 square right underneath. So it's not just 5 squares, it's 5 by 5. So that's kind of the method we're following, is 5 by 5. And so 5 is going to be underneath. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. That's great. And I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to pick my previous custom color, and then I'm going to alter it. Maybe I'll make it just a little darker. And then I copy what I have, Control C, Control V. Now, when I do this and I multiply it, it comes out with too many now, because I did 3 plus 3, that's 6. I only needed 5, so I'm going to just delete this last row. All right, so now I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5 across, like that. Now I grab my whole thing again, copy that, again paste it, and then I make it a new color. back in here, choose my last color, and then I'm gonna alter it just a little darker. And so this gave me the right number up, 1, 2, 3, you know, so my next number, we just did the 5 by 5. Now we're doing the 8 by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I've got 8. And now I just need to do 8 by 8. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 across. I'm going to just delete this last one. And then that way I have a 4 here, and then I can just double it. So I copy that, Control C, Control V. So now 4 plus 4 is 8. So I have 8 up and 8 across. And then I highlight everything again, copy it, Command C or Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So again, we're just copying and pasting a lot, and it's a lot easier than it looks if you think about what you're doing. Now I see here that I'm going to run out of space, so I just have to grab everything and I'm going to make it a little smaller. There we go. So I'm going to grab my thing, and so my next number was 8. The next number is 13, so 13 across is right, but I only have 8 up. So if I go 8 plus 8, that's going to be 16, so I'll just have to get rid of 3 from it, so no big deal. So I'm going to take my set that I had just copied. I'm first going to set its color and go into custom, make it a little darker. And then I'm just going to copy it and paste it. Now I want 13. Right now I have 16, so I'm just going to delete a row of 3. So 1, 2, 3, like that. So I'm going to make sure I get rid of that row of 3. Now I've got it the right size. So then again, the last one, if we're going to go that far, is we just copy the entire thing that we already had. And my phi is getting in the way, so I'm going to move my phi out of the way. I'll maybe put it over here. So I want to grab everything that I already had one more time and copy that. That gives me 21 all the way down and only 13 across. Copying that and bring it over, paste, put it next to it. Oh, and this is the last set we're going to do. We just go in and we hit fill color, choose your last color, and then you go back in and choose custom and make it just a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to do that again. So I want to kind of make a little bit more space, so I'm just going to make mine a little smaller. Grab it and shrink it a little bit. So I'm going to grab my piece. Again, I change the color to whatever color seems right. And I'm going to copy that. So this gave me the 5 plus the 8, which was 13. Now 13 plus 13 gives me 26, but the next number is 21, not 26. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to copy it and get my 26, but then I'll just delete a couple, just like last time. Copy, paste. And move everything over. So I'm going to just delete the extras that it had. So you could count one by one if you wanted to, but I think that's kind of tedious. Like, I'll do groups of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I can count backwards. So if we subtract 21 from 26, then we get the number that we should be deleting. So I highlight that number across. 1, 2, 3. All right, so then we're done. Hit save and close. And then in the Canvas page, I have all this typed out for you, or you could just copy from what you're seeing on the screen. But basically, you're going to put in the title, the medium, the size, and by. So every time you add your title in your document, then you get another 10% added to your document. So the title would be whatever you'd like to call it. Maybe I'll call mine blue. Art created using the Fibonacci sequence. Medium is Google Draw. Size is actual. By, put your name there. And date, put today's date. And you're done.